Good morning, Year 7. I've made a little video clip for you going over the things we did in the last lesson. Okay, so subtracting mixed numbers. I'll show you firstly the method we were using in the lesson, and then I will show you a slight variation as you might prefer to do it the other way. Okay, so what did we say in the lesson? We said we have 5 wholes and 3/7 minus 2 wholes and 1/7. So we can just say 5 minus 5 wholes minus 2 wholes is equal to 3 wholes. So that's 3. And then we have 3/7 minus 1/7. So we can just write it plus 3/7 minus 1/7. So that equals 3 wholes. And then 3/7 minus 1/7 is 2/7. 3 plus 2/7 is 3 and 2/7. That's what we said. A slight variation on this is we can just say straight off here, we check that the denominators are the same, otherwise we make them the same. They're fine. So we'll just say straight off 5 minus 2 is 3. 3/7 minus 1/7 is 2/7. Okay, so we just went straight away and put these both. Let's look at another example. Now in this example, we notice the denominators here are not the same. So we're not so lucky as we were here where the denominators were exactly the same. Okay, so if we start off by saying 6 whole cakes minus 4 whole cakes is 2 whole cakes. So 6 minus 4 is 2. And then we have this 3/4 minus the half. Okay, this one is positive because it's the first one. Remember, the first one, if there's nothing in the front, means it must be positive. So that's why we're writing plus 3/4. Okay, we now, because the denominators are not the same, we have to make them the same. So the 2 wholes remain, and we have to make these the same denominator. The lowest common denominator cannot be smaller than the biggest one, 4. Does 2 go into 4? Yes, it does. So 4 is my lowest common denominator. These are already fourths, so I can just write the 3 on the top. Or I can say 4 goes into 4 once, put the 1 there. 2 goes into 4 twice, put the 2 here. This is 2 times 2 makes 4. And then we just multiply. 1, 3 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. So that equals 2 plus 3/4 minus 2/4 is 1/4. 2 and 1/4. Does that fraction simplify? No, it doesn't. So the second variation is to actually notice straight away that the denominators are not the same. So first of all, I'm going to make the denominators the same before I do any subtraction. So 6 3/4 minus 4, and I make that into quarters. I times this by 2, so I times the numerator by 2, 2/4. And now I do my subtraction. So I should really start with the fractions, because you never know, the fractions might not actually be able to subtract them. Maybe if I had 3 minus 5/4 here, or I had something bigger here, I wouldn't be able to subtract them. So 3/4 minus 2/4 is 1/4. So I do those first, really. I say that comes to 1/4. And then I do the whole numbers. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 and 1/4. Same as I got earlier. Okay, let's look at another example. 9 7/12 minus 3 1/3. We say 9 minus 3 for method 1, which is 6. And then we say plus 7/12 minus 1/3. We notice the denominators are not the same. The biggest one is a 12. The 3 goes into the 12. So we'll make 12 our denominator, our common denominator. So 12 into 12 goes once. 3 into 12 goes 4 times. 7 times 1 is 7. 4 times 1 is 4. So we made them both into 12ths. So it's 6. And then we have 7 twelfths minus 4 twelfths, which is 3 twelfths. 6 and 3 twelfths. We notice here that 3 and 12 both divided by 3, so this actually simplifies. So it's 6. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 6 1/4. And the variation on this, we notice straight away that the denominators are not the same, so we will make them the same. So this is going to be 9 and 7 twelfths minus 3. Make that into 12ths as well. So I timesed it by 4. I times the numerator by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Now I'm ready to subtract. Subtract the fractions first. 7 twelfths minus 4 twelfths is 3 twelfths. And then 9 minus 3 is 6. We notice that this simplifies. So just like we did before, divide them both by 3. 6 1/4. See how this method actually seems much shorter? Doesn't really matter as long as you understand. Just use the one you find easiest. And the last example here on these is they both have a denominator, different denominators. The denominators are very close. And do you remember we said when they're very close, just multiply them by each other. So we have 5 minus 2, which is 3, plus the 3/4 minus 2/5. Okay, so because they're so close, we know that the new denominator here is going to be 4 times 5, 20. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 goes into 24 times. Multiply them. 15 here and 8 here. So that equals 3. And 15 minus 8 is 7/20. Does that simplify? No, it doesn't. Okay, and the variation on this, we notice the denominators are not the same. First of all, we will make them the same. So we'll make them both into 20ths. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 goes into 24 times. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 2 is 8. Do the fractions first. 15 20ths minus 8 20ths is 7 20ths. 5 minus 2 is 3. And that's it for this method. Thank you.